Hello, future millionaire. Yeah, my friend Chris just met me at a cafe and then gave me a shirt. Not sure if this is nice or not. Let's take a look. So, he's trying to encourage me to take up biking. So I never had a biking shirt in my life. This is the first one. Not into biking. Maybe I should take it up. Who knows? Give me some comments. Now, the reason I'm making this video now is because I want to address more of the institutional investors here. So if you are not institutional investors, you can click away. If you are institutional investors, you can watch my video and tell people that you are doing research and all this background and so on just to make things look better. And yeah, all for the research purpose. You are not looking at all at the beautiful beaches of Gold Coast, thinking about coming to Gold Coast to research further Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, maybe you can convince somebody in your business, pay for your trip, all expense paid, fly over to Gold Coast, sit down here at a cafe and talk with someone like me about your future investment in Bitcoin Cash and in crypto in general. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Now, back to the topic for the institutional investors. For those people who are new in institutional investment landscape, when you are looking at crypto right now, it is pretty obvious something's going on. You have thought that crypto's game is over. You have thought Bitcoin is dead. You have thought Bitcoin is outdated. In reality, everything that's related to Bitcoin is actually an asset that is similar to gold. Very, very similar to gold. So just keep that in mind. When you invest in Bitcoin, you are buying literally the digital version of the gold, but with the difference that the mining schedule is fixed, supply is fixed, there's nothing in the world can change all that. And now, to understand Bitcoin Cash, I want you to understand silver. Silver is the equivalent of Bitcoin Cash in the traditional financial world. Silver was always the payment method of choice. Silver was always the way how people transacted day to day in the last few thousand years. Now, in the next few thousand years, I strongly believe it's going to be Bitcoin Cash based payment system. And therefore, you can't afford not to invest even a part of your portfolio into Bitcoin Cash. If you buy Bitcoin, you are buying a crypto that is a deflationary crypto in the long term and is a pure asset. There's no liability associated with Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin Cash you have added benefits of payment system of the world. So it is very important that you understand when you buy into Bitcoin Cash, you are not buying into just speculation. You are actually buying into a tangible asset, very similar to silver bullion. The only difference is when you buy into Bitcoin Cash, this silver, unlike silver bullion, you have to store it. You have to pay a custodian to store the thing for you. In Bitcoin Cash, you can even store the biggest amount or the smallest amount of Bitcoin Cash completely by yourself without any storage issues involved. You have a direct custodian between you and your asset. You are the custodian. You don't need another person to safeguard it for you. So as long as you do your homework, you will be able to buy into this asset class with ease. Now, for those people who are thinking about diversifying your $100 million portfolio into crypto, I strongly suggest take 10% of your asset value, put this into crypto. Of that 10%, at least put 10% of the 10% into Bitcoin Cash. So altogether, you should have around 1% of your net worth in Bitcoin Cash. This gives you a 100x upside on your asset with virtually no downside risk. Because if 1% of your asset goes down by, let's say, 70%, which can always happen, you have not really been affected. The effect on your net worth is less than 0.5 to 0.7%. But if you, however, starting see a dramatic gain, let's say 100x on your net worth, or even 1000x on your net worth, because the Bitcoin Cash becomes the dominant payment system worldwide for non-government based payment system, then your own portfolio will go up 5-fold, 10-fold, even 20-fold in the process with virtually no downside risk. There is no other asset in the world right now has a better risk-reward ratio compared to Bitcoin Cash. I really want you to keep that in mind. And I really hope this video works well, audio is good, because if it is, I'm gonna make more video like this on the beach, give you guys the idea of lifestyle on the Gold Coast. Also, last but not least, you can tell people, you can look at those real estates in the background, and tell people that if you buy into Bitcoin Cash today, in about 3-4 years time, you can exchange your Bitcoin Cash for this beachfront real estate. This is some of the most expensive beachfront real estate on the Gold Coast. We're here next to albatross hedges. Those are the most expensive real estates here on the Gold Coast, and you can afford it if you put a couple of $1 million into Bitcoin Cash today. And this is what I'm doing. I come here, go for the cafe, go for the personal experience to figure out what is the best lifestyle here and choose the best location. And in a few years time, I will exchange a percentage of my net worth for beachfront properties. That's the way for me to go. And you can do the same with your family money. All right, see you in the next one. I really hope the audio of this video goes well. See you soon, bye. Hello Future Millionaire. Today is a step-by-step guide how to acquire the most desirable property on the planet if you use the power of Bitcoin Cash. So behind me you see one of the most expensive property on the Gold Coast, and give you the shots. Alright, you can imagine why this is one of the most expensive properties. Let me explain in detail how you can get it done. So that property last transacted price was about $27 million, I think. Now they're doing renovation. That means when it's all done, they're probably gonna flip it for $50 million. And in a couple of years, probably that property will be worth $70 million or even $100 million. Who knows? You can always compare that property to some of the best properties on the Gold Coast or around the world, and it will sell for whatever money the person wants to pay for. Now, where do those people come from? And I predict in the next few years, the most expensive properties in the world will all be bought by crypto people. Either you invent your own crypto and solve a problem that no one else can solve, or you can tag along into one of the most undervalued crypto assets in the world, in this case Bitcoin Cash, and then solve problem for others. Which means, for example, when you own Bitcoin Cash, your Bitcoin Cash will be used as a building block for DeFi, for staking, for NFTs, for smart contracts, all that stuff. Right now, people associate this each individually with one particular coin. So in the future, I can assure you, all these problems will be solved with one blockchain. Just a single blockchain will solve all those issues. Just like we have only one TCP/IP to solve the problem of internet transactions, the same thing will happen with Bitcoin. Of all the versions of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash has the highest probability solving all this problem at one go. One example being Smart BCH. If Smart BCH is executed properly, we are going to see smart contracts that runs on Ethereum that will be executed on the Bitcoin Cash network as a sidechain, and it will lower the transaction fee, increase the speed of transaction, and make things much faster. That's only one of the examples. But the absolute killer app remains payment. Peer-to-peer electronic cash system, as the original white paper says. That is the killer app. And with this killer app, you can transact any amount of value across the world without any permission. And that is something still at this moment no one else can do better than Bitcoin Cash. I challenge you to give me another example of peer-to-peer electronic cash system that can give you better results at a lower cost, at a faster speed, without any permission whatsoever. And one last thing I want to address is those government-issued cryptocurrencies. They are actually not really cryptocurrencies. Instead, they are just digital version of the same fiat currency that you're going to using today, which means sooner or later, all that money will get unramped into the crypto space. And in the crypto space, the number one asset you should hold for store of value, for functionality, and for transaction of valuations, that is always the Bitcoin Cash network. And of course, right now, nobody believes that's the case. That's the reason the valuation is so low. But as soon as people realize the advantage of Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, there will be more and more institutional money coming into the space. Just like what happened the last 5 days in Bitcoin Cash ETF, there will be more and more money entering the Bitcoin Cash space and push the valuation further and further towards BTC and BCH ratio 1-to-1. If that happens, and I don't know when that will happen or at what price it will happen, it's just a matter of time until it happens. If it happens, you're going to see a dramatic increase in cross-border transaction. And I'm talking about BTC to BCH border. Right now, there's no restriction between the two. You can at any time exchange your BTC for BCH and vice versa. And because the mining companies decides about ultimately about the hashing power, and the hashing power decided by the pricing, so you have a positive loop feedback. As soon as Bitcoin Cash mining is more profitable than Bitcoin mining, there's always more and more computing power goes into Bitcoin Cash mining. And when that happens, you always have more people then follow up into the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. And when they do that, the price just keep going higher and higher and higher until we reach 1-to-1. The key is 1-to-1. As long as Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin are not trading at 1-to-1 ratio, you are still having a lot of upside. So even at this moment, if we go back to 20-to-1 or even 10-to-1, you should still continue invest in Bitcoin Cash instead of Bitcoin, because mathematically sooner or later they will be trading at a 1-to-1 ratio. There's no other way around it. This is not the same in this case compared to my last example between gold and silver, because naturally there's about 10 times more silver in the ground than gold, and therefore the 10-to-1 ratio is justified. But naturally, by mathematics, the amount of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash outstanding are exactly the same. Therefore, the supply side is exactly the same. They will halve at exactly the same time as well. And they have the same mining equipment. Therefore, it's just a matter of time until the price will reach parity too. Utility is the key. So you're going to watch the utility of Bitcoin Cash skyrocketing due to the amount of microtransaction going on the Bitcoin Cash network. So this is all this for the institutional investors, all right? This episode, everything I'm talking about is for institutional investors, because I realize a lot of institutional investors are not doing enough homework. They think that as long as people don't talk about Bitcoin Cash, then it will disappear. Actually, it doesn't. If you look at a website like nomics.com or coingecko.com, you'll realize that Bitcoin Cash is actually one of the top 5 cryptos in the world every day in the transaction volume. So it's just a matter of time until that thing catches up, goes back to top 1 or top 2, and then through Coinbase and other exchanges, Bitcoin Cash will get further and further exposure. And there's more and more people making YouTube videos about Bitcoin Cash, TikTok videos, Instagram videos, and you name it. There's more and more people doing that. It's just a matter of time until we revive the functionality and the valuation of Bitcoin Cash. All right, I hope this video helps to contribute to the revival of Bitcoin Cash into the mainstream's mindset, and see you by end of the year at 10x. Bye.